Hello everyone, we're going to try something a little bit different today. We're going to, I'm just, I've been chilling out. We're going to have a little, I'm still kind of figuring out this whole YouTube thing. And so we're going to have a little bit of gameplay footage for you today. We got a little bit of Marvel Superheroes, Quest for the Gems. It's going to be a little topical. I want to do a little follow-up on a previous video I've done. I guess we'll get started here. So here's Spider-Man fighting Iron Man. Spider-Man's got a bunch of Infinity Gems, and I think he's going to take one from Iron Man. But anyway, I've been, to let you know what I've been doing. I've been working. I've been watching one of my favorite movies of all time, Heavy Metal 2000, just watching Julie Strain and Michael Ironside and Billy Idol beat the ever-loving shit out of each other. It's an awesome, crazy, raunchy fantasy adventure, not for the faint of heart. Also, topic of what I want to talk about today. Also, for those of you who don't know, Oxenius is starting to stream, and he's streamed a session of him playing Outlast last night, and so by all means show him some love. I understand the irony of this, of me having gameplay footage, but I kind of just didn't feel like sitting around watching him play video games all day long. But I'm hopefully he'll put it up and air it on his channel, and I'll go check it out and see what he did there. I personally haven't played Outlast, so those of you who are big Outlast fans might want to give it a shot. Thinking like he might want to fine-tune what he does. I think it's the first time he's ever streamed before, so it should be pretty interesting. But anyway, so yeah, by all means show Oxenius some love over at the Roundtable of RPG. But why are we here today? Well, okay, I picked this game because I really super like it, and I'm one of the few people that still play it. But also I picked it because I want to talk about James Gunn. I want to talk about the future of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I want to talk about Infinity War Part 2. Specifically, I want to do a little follow-up on my little rant about James Gunn and why I think it's really stupid for Disney to fire him right now. So I got a little bit of feedback on that. A really nice man named James Nation commented on my video, and he said, "How can you defend this?" And he pointed me to another channel, a guy named #Pizzagate, and so I actually did what I should have done initially before ranting, was actually saw what James Gunn actually wrote 9 years ago that got him fired. And so I watched this guy's video and I looked it over, and basically what I actually saw the tweets themselves. It was between him and Lloyd Kaufman, and this guy #Pizzagate was adamant. This proves that he's hanging out with some asshole I've never heard of before named Podesta. I don't know what that's in reference to. By all means, people, I don't know who this Podesta guy is, nor do I care, or why should I care, but allegedly in being associated with this guy confirms for #Pizzagate, oh, this guy's a pedophile, and it's like, this isn't just a joke, this guy is a pedophile, he's definitely a pedophile. That's what Mr. Pizzagate was saying. And listening to the dialogue, listening on this public forum that is Twitter, it's very obvious to me that these were jokes. These were jokes taken out of context. Basically, James Gunn was just joking around back and forth with Lloyd Kaufman, saying, it's like, oh, I like the little boys, he's like, I've done stuff like that. It's called self-deprecating humor. It means you're not actually a pedophile, but you're making fun of yourself. That's what it is. And that's basically what he was doing. He was making jokes that are arguably in poor taste. And what's completely baffling to me about this is, and how in shock people are of this, and it just shows to me that they have no understanding of who James Gunn is as a person. This guy was also offended that he made fun of AIDS, and it's like, okay, hasn't George Carlin made fun of AIDS millions of times? Hasn't any comic worth his salt made jokes that offend people? And the thing is, it's like, these people don't seem to understand that James Gunn is, he comes from an exploitation background. If any of you have seen any of his movies, if you've seen Romeo and Juliet, if you've seen the Belko Experiments, if you've seen Slither, or many other films aside from that, you'd know that this guy doesn't care. This guy has a dark, twisted sense of humor. Slither, in particular, is a great fucking science fiction horror movie. It's kind of a nod to classic sci-fi horror movies, which is like kind of old, the creatures from beyond the star, your classic like B-movie schlock goodness. And it's very dark and twisted with really fucked up body horror. Michael Rooker's in it. He plays a really good job as the main villain of it. Nathan Fillion's in it. It's just, this guy makes dark movies that people do find offensive. It doesn't mean he's a bad person. It means he's a little rude and crude. It doesn't mean he's a pedophile. And it's like, basically, I'm kind of flabbergasted by all this moral outrage. I believe I want to say the Red Letter Media guys could probably quote me better on this, but it's like Jay Bauman's a big James Gunn guy too, and I believe I think James Gunn made a movie about a woman with 7 clits or something like that, something really crazy or weird like that, and it's like, yeah, James Gunn has made dark movies of dark subject matter before. This is who Disney hired, and he did this 9 years ago, before he ever even touched Guardians of the Galaxy. And on top of that, I noticed no one is criticizing Lloyd Kaufman, the head of Troma Pictures. Lloyd Kaufman also makes the Toxic Avenger movies and a lot of awesome, low-budget, sleazy B movies. And again, this is the type of stuff these people make. These aren't bad people. They're a little raunchy. They have a darker sense of humor. They're not shy away from this stuff. This is another example. I find this funny how basically this is another example of the PC police coming to the stomping grounds. And it's interesting how the same assholes who support Trump and are outraged by SJWs, which again I hate SJWs too, are basically now calling James Gunn a creepy uncle because he made an off-color joke or two, and it just completely flabbergasts me how little these people understand him. And what it boils down to, and that's why so many people in Hollywood are defending him. They know him personally. They know this is bullshit, and all this boils down to is, let's be honest here. James said a few bad things about our glorious president, our wonderful president, Donald Trump, who clearly is a pinnacle of human moral fortitude, as the alt-right is so adamantly informing me of. I honestly think Blackheart here would be a much better choice of president. I'd rather elect a horrible demon who works for Mephisto than fucking Donald Trump. Donald Trump is such an obvious con man and a piece of shit. He lies every fucking second he gets. He is outwardly bullshitting you. The guy is like the world's greatest con man. People freaking gravitate to this guy. Think he's so wonderful, thinking that he's such a wonderful person because he says what they want to hear. He says all the things that they want to hear, that Mexicans are the problem, or the reason for all the problems, America first, all this bullshit. Even Razor Fist, as much as I love and at the same time give shit to Razor Fist. Razor Fist, for those who don't know, is probably, in my opinion, one of the best YouTubers that's on YouTube right now. This guy knows video games. This guy knows science fiction. I love Razor Fist. I'm a fan of Salieri. I'm also a fan of Razor Fist, and I will be the day I die. However, Razor Fist, hardcore Trump supporter, and God bless him. That's his opinion. That's who he likes. All right. And the one thing, I can't really take, his political stuff too much. It's not for me. I obviously disagree with him for obvious reasons, but it's like, one of the videos he did way back in the day, and he was coming down on Hillary for, is he brought up the fact that Hillary was one of those assholes who blamed video games on violence on video games. She's one of those people that said, like, oh, man, video games are the reason why we're having gun violence. Like, shortly after Columbine, she was one of the idiots who did this. And she did do that, and it's one thing I've never really liked about Hillary. And he pointed out that's the reason why he didn't want to support her. And to be fair, listen, as a Democrat, I don't like Hillary Clinton too much. I don't. I'm sorry. I just don't. There's something about her. I'm not sure what it is. Jon Stewart could probably opine on this better than I could. The whole idea of that, she's a woman of strong conviction, but I have no idea what her convictions are. That's fair to say. There's something about Hillary. If nothing else, there's a dearth of charisma to this woman. This woman, it baffles me that basically Trump can say the dumbest thing in the world, and Hillary can turn around and say something equally stupid, and yet or she'll say something stupid but not as stupid as what he'll say, and she'll get more shit for it. And there's something about that. I think it's partially that in the case of Trump, we kind of know what we're getting into. We know he's a moron. It's expected. I think we expect that she should know better, and she apparently doesn't. And I think that's part of the problem. But yeah, as a Democrat, I don't like Hillary Clinton very much. And it's like, yeah, I feel like this last election we had was one of the worst on record, because our choices were Donald Trump, who's a moron, and Hillary Clinton, who's horribly unlikable. It's like, who to vote for? Shumagorath. Let's vote for Spider-Man. Spider-Man here's kicking my ass. I think, honestly, he's an American hero. Let's vote. See, we were joking around at Great Lakes. It was like, man, we should just vote. We should just elect Harambe. We should just elect a freaking dead gorilla who mishandles children. But I'm getting off topic. The point is, it's like, my point being about this is that, like, he Razor Fist pointed out that Donald Trump, like Hillary had said this about video games, and in the wake of the Broward County shooting, what does Donald Trump do? Blame video games. blame video games and violent movies for violence. And it was like, oh, maybe we should look into that. Maybe look at that. He just started saying the same bullshit. It goes to show you that basically both sides are fucking assholes. They really are. And again, the glorious leader Donald Trump is nothing worthy of praising. He's no, like, you know, all this talk about, oh, he's one of us, all this. No, he's a bunch of bullshit. He doesn't care. He's a con man. Most of his businesses have failed. He's basically learned from his dad to lie about how much money he actually has. He doesn't really have that much money to begin with. And most of his businesses go over. He's a broken, he's just full of shit. He's like he really doesn't have any, he's just, I mean, he's been, everybody knows Donald Trump is a massive asshole who sells overpriced crap and then acts like he's the most successful guy in the world. He basically tricks people, and that's how he convinces them to give him money and give him support. And he's conning the entire country right now. And, you know, and he also has this strange relationship with our greatest enemies. I find it flabbergasting how people who claim, oh, he's going to do this for America and puts America first, like, have no problem with him making deals with China and Russia, our greatest enemies. I don't, like, you know, it's ridiculous. And this has quickly become a Donald Trump rant. But the point is, it's like, listen, my point in saying this is it's perfectly understandable how someone might not be down with the Trump. And it's perfectly acceptable to say, hey, I don't like this guy. I think he's a piece of shit. I don't want him here. And what it boils down to is Mike Cernovich didn't like what James Gunn had to say. So he decided to go dig up a couple of old port jokes that James Gunn made, maybe in poor taste, and got him fired from Disney. That's what he did. That's exactly what he fucking did. And that's scummy. That's ruining a person's career because you don't like their opinion. And that's not right. That's a really incredibly shitty thing to do. And so, I mean, I get it. Mike Cernovich, he's a pundit. It's his job to support Trump because of the alt-right nonsense. But at the end of the day, this guy's a fucking scumbag. And he's a scumbag. He's attempted to ruin James Gunn's career. I think James Gunn's going to be okay. Again, James Gunn did fine at Troma Pictures before and has been done fine as a filmmaker. I think he'll bounce back. But essentially, he slandered this man, threw his name through the mud, has now gotten dumb people, and I'm sorry, I don't think he's terribly intelligent, but this hashtag Pizzagate guy does not strike me as a mental colossus. He's got people like him slandering his name, all because he made an off-color joke. I mean, it's no secret that basically, you know, James Gunn is an anti-establishment sort of guy that basically doesn't hold any bars in terms to comedy and criticism. People forget this. Like, comedians are supposed to offend you. Comedians are supposed to say things you don't want to hear. George Carlin's been preaching this stuff for years, man. May he rest in peace. He was talking about this, and it's like, you know, you got to be able to make fun of anything, and if you can't handle it, it's like it shows a tremendous lack of maturity to basically to scream at people and try to silence people just because they say something that offends you. You could just back in the day, what we do is we just call the guy a jerk and let him be. That's what you're supposed to do. And that's what I kind of do. Yeah, and to be fair, that's probably what we all should do with Donald Trump or whatever politician we don't like. Is just, this guy's an asshole. Fuck him. And leave it at that. But I mean, yeah, what it boils down to is, like, you know, Cernovich had a difference of opinion with James Gunn and tried to ruin his career. And that's a really shitty thing to do. Cernovich is a massive piece of shit. As far as I'm concerned, he could fuck off. Anyway, I believe James Gunn will bounce back from that. That'll be good. But also, this is also a really stupid decision on Disney's part, because James Gunn did an excellent job in Guardians 1 and 2. And now they're not going to have him on board for the third installment. And I think that's an incredibly stupid thing to do. It's kind of... Marvel is not only been doing a great job in terms of the movies right now, but Marvel Studios is one of the few entertainment venues out there that is actually continuing to entertain audiences. In terms of movies, we got a lot of shitty movies coming out. We got a lot of movies that aren't really, I mean, really serious. I think the only non-Marvel related movie this year that I liked was The Shape of Water. I mean, we know, Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom sure didn't entertain me. Marvel Comics is having problems with, this SJW invasion, which they're trying to get rid of, but, there's other problems. And even DC was doing fine for a while, and they decided to hire Zoe Quinn, because I don't know, they're retarded. There's a lot of problems going out here. It's like one of the few people that is consistently making entertaining, fun movies that have an overarching, awesome arc is Marvel. And there now feels like there might be a wedge into that. I was worried back with The Last Jedi that basically it might be a sign of Disney sinking as a ship. And that, well, thank God, like, you know, Kevin Feige's in charge of Marvel, and it's like, you know, hopefully he can contain whatever leak that Kathleen Kennedy causes to sink the ship on their side. But like now it might be starting to bleed in. There's an issue. I'm really kind of worried about Captain Marvel. I'm worried that I think Brie Larson's the girl playing Captain Marvel, and there was some article to the effect of she was all kind of snippy about people not liking Wrinkle in Time, and how like, she was saying something to the effect of that, like, people who don't like it are sexist or racist, or like how dare they have a problem with this movie, and, you know, diversity, neoliberalism nonsense. It felt like it was coming with an attitude. To be fair, I have not seen The Wrinkle in Time. I just heard what everybody else said, that like it's a piece of shit. I actually do want to watch it because I'm actually a big fan of The Wrinkle in Time. I read that book as a kid. It actually was made into a movie many years ago. Not a bad movie adaptation, honestly. So I actually want to give it a chance, in spite of everything bad I've heard about it. But there was that, and there's the fact that basically they are bringing in Captain Marvel, who is the worst current Marvel characters. Captain Marvel is basically the living embodiment of everything wrong with Marvel Comics right now. She is basically the living embodiment of SJW Marvel. Everything you can possibly do wrong, that's her. And the thing is that Carol Danvers didn't used to be that. Miss Marvel is an excellent character, the alleged sexist version of her, where, oh my God, she showed her legs and her butt. It's like, oh my God forbid a woman have a sexy outfit. That makes her somehow like sexist. It's fucking stupid. Carol Danvers was always a strong, beautiful, badass woman who was a three-dimensional, awesome character, who was compassionate, and who was a great superhero. And there was nothing wrong with her before. But the moment they decided, oh, well, we don't like that old outfit, so we're going to change it and make her Captain Marvel now, they turned her into this miserable, ultra-feminist, bold-eyed lesbian horror show that's a symbol of everything that they're doing wrong now as a company. And I don't want that shit in my movies. My movies are doing good right now. Like, I think part of the reason for turning, like, I forgot her name. But Thor's girlfriend. I forgot her. Oh my God, I'm spacing on her name. What the fuck? The whole reason for making Lady Thor, making Jane Foster into Thor in the comics was like, ooh, we're gonna give like the movie makers some ideas of stuff they could do. And like, well, first of all, if there's any basis on Thor 2, nobody wanted to see Natalie Portman as Thor. No one wanted to see that Lady Thor, if nothing else. And then they turned her into this miserable, horrible, you know, feminist nightmare as well, this man-hating nightmare. On top of that, she also was this bizarre character that like had cancer and yet like had the opportunity to get with it with the Asgardians' help, and just refused it. No, I'm gonna die a miserable, horrible death to cancer because fuck you, Thor. I'd rather die of cancer than be cured. And as a person who's dealt with cancer in my life, I've had many friends and family members that have suffered from it and that have suffered pain due to it. It's like, let me tell you, if there's any way to like avoid that, to get rid of that pain and make sure that they live longer, or not have to deal with that, it's like in a heartbeat, man. In a fucking heartbeat. If Thor shows up tomorrow and gives me an Asgardian potion that could cure my family members of cancer, we're fucking taking it. I would like it if people acted like they were real for once, you know? So yeah, that didn't work out. So it's like, I really don't want them to, and it's weird that they haven't shown any trailers yet. And so I'm a little worried about that. And now you're firing James Gunn before Guardians 3. To me, it's another bad sign, and I'm worried. I don't buy this whole superhero fatigue. What I do buy is starting to screw up with a good formula. I do buy damaging good stuff that you've already previously established. And what concerns me is I really think James Gunn should be on board for the next movie. He should be on board for the next Guardians movie. And they could potentially ruin it and potentially ruin the streak they've got going by doing this. I think it was really stupid of them to fire him. They shouldn't have done it in the first place. It's like Disney should have already checked their stuff. They'd realize, yeah, we know we've got the trauma guy. We know we've got the guy who had a woman turn into a giant like freaking tit blob in Slither. We should have already processed that that's who the guy we hired. And yeah, that's him. It's like he doesn't make movies like that for us, but that he brings that sensibility. And part of the reason I think for Guardians is like kind of, you know, quirky sense of humor has to do with James Gunn's experience in making exploitation, science fiction, and horror movies. It's like it comes from that. And I think it's really stupid to not have him on the project. And anyway, I have hopes that like maybe things will change and he'll come back. Hopefully after an apology. It would be nice if Disney would apologize for anything. And of course, I want to end with, and I mentioned this in my rant before, yeah, how come Rian Johnson and Kathleen Kennedy still have a job? Ethan and Jeremy of Geeks and Gamers are convinced that they're probably already gone. I hope they're right. You know, but like, yeah, like, seriously, James Gunn did this 9 years ago, and he gets fired instantaneously. Meanwhile, Rian Johnson shits on the fans and calls them sexist for 6 fucking months. 6 fucking months and still has a job. That's bullshit. That is total bullshit, and it's hypocrisy on Disney's part. I guess I shouldn't be surprised by any of this, but I'm still disappointed by it. So yeah, and I'm a little okay. And to be fair, I haven't watched this next part again. I mentioned this in the comments with James, but James Nation, not James Gunn. Because I basically gave kind of after he sent me to the video, I checked. I sent him back a comment in my comment section, and I basically mentioned this is like it sounds like Jeremy Geeks and Gamers is basically saying stuff to the effect of that, like, oh well, you know, James Gunn's comments are indefensible. And again, having actually now looked at the comments that he made on Twitter, these are very defensible. They're obvious jokes. You could argue they're really bad jokes, but they're jokes. It's like, you know, and again, one thing I respect Jeremy for is Jeremy has been very adamant about he's not happy the way Star Wars has been going in, and he hasn't been very happy with what they're doing, and he doesn't approve of SJWs, but it's like he welcomes people with a differing opinion. You know, he's very peaceable about that while voicing his own opinion, and that's cool. But it's very disappointing to me that he, at the same time, he can't recognize that this is a case in the opposite direction, where an alt-righter is basically coming down against someone on maybe the opposite political fence as him, and is destroying his career. And he doesn't recognize or acknowledge that that's not okay. And he's even saying something like, oh, I think James Gunn should be on a watch list or something. And I'm really disappointed by that. I mean, Jeremy seems like a pretty altogether guy. He seemed like he was willing to, like, he seems like, I think he does welcome people from all different perspectives, you know, on Geeks and Gamers. But it's like, I was kind of disappointed that he had that take on it. Again, it's his opinion, but I mean, I would think he would recognize this and he wouldn't be okay with this and recognize kind of the same kind of bullshit. I think he's hoping that basically with James Gunn firing, it may be easier for Rian Johnson and Kathleen Kennedy to be fired. Maybe, but it also might just mean that all they're going to do is wind up listening to things that they interpret as. I don't necessarily. I think, like, you know, justice needs to go, you know, regardless, both ways. I think, like, James Gunn should be defended and not be fired for something he did 9 years ago, especially just because a Trump supporting pundit wanted to ruin his career. I think Disney should recognize that and not fall for it. At the same time, they should note that when their people are directly attacking their fan base, that's not okay. I don't think I think it's it could be that they're thinking that, well, maybe this will make it easier, but I think it would be one way or another, it would be wrong. It would be wrong, in my opinion. It's wrong to fire James Gunn and not fire Rian Johnson. So it's like Rian Johnson better not be working there. But I don't know. I guess it all boils down to, it's Disney. How badly do you want my money? Because I keep going to see your movies. I support you. I sing your praises every day and night. And you go and let a little round-headed motherfucker like Rian Johnson make a shitty movie, and then you fire James Gunn, one of your best people. All to appease an alt-writer. All to appease Mike Cernovich. What the fuck's wrong with you? Anyway, I probably offended more people with this, but basically what it boils down to is, yeah, man, James Gunn is innocent. This is a smear campaign. This is a smear campaign. This guy's a good guy. But he's offensive. He says things that might offend you, but he's not a bad person, and he makes some awesome fucked up movies that you should see. If you haven't seen Slither, you should. You should go see Slither right the fuck now. Stop what you're doing. Stop watching Dr. Doom punch Dr. Doom with me, and go watch Slither, watch Belko Experiments, watch Trauma videos, watch Toxic Avenger. They're fucking awesome, man. It's good stuff. Anyway, I still have hopes that again, Marvel hasn't, like, disappointed me yet. Again, just saw Ant-Man and the Wasp, and it was really good, so I'm still, like, with any luck, we're gonna be Marvel's gonna be kicking ass all the way through, and it's gonna be all right. And with any luck, we'll get Star Wars back on track. But you know, I don't know. I'm just hoping we won't have to. I'm hoping like Disney will realize sooner rather than later that if they want our money, they should stop. They should actually give us what we want, and not shit on us for telling them what we want. So, anyway, yeah, I'm gonna go beat up this other Doctor Doom right here and conquer the universe. And y'all have a good day. I will catch you next time. See you around, folks.